Wake up, everybody, because it's time for a podcast. That is right, this is Social Discording, a podcast all about three gents who are stuck at home here in this here quarantine. I'm Bandar Sen, your host, and to my right, as always, actually, I guess it's my left, Joey Spicy Fries. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I am slightly tired. I had some oatmeal. We're good.
This guy's voice changed from last week. What's going on?
Your voice is all... You hit puberty?
I had a schrock in my throat.
Schrock in your throat. And below him is the master of all things Lego, DJ Zax.
That is right, and we are still trapped.
We're still trapped. I just wanted to do a quick little point out, talking about the current situation in Minneapolis. Oh god, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh god, pressure. We here at Team Ninabone, that is our group name, Team Ninabone. I think I can speak for everyone. I don't know about Joey when I say that we are, obviously in support of Black Lives Matter.
What?
We are all in support of Black Lives Matter. It's very easy for us three white dudes. I think the easiest thing you can be in society is not racist. And I think it's very easy for us to follow that path of being not racist, and as such, Black Lives Matter. I'm going to be posting a donation link to a fund called the Minneapolis Freedom Fund, the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which is a charity organization that's run through a community in Minnesota that basically gathers money for wrongful incarcerations of minorities. In Minnesota. There are other similar ones like it, but because the situation is directly associated with that state, that's the one we're going to go for. But yeah, I don't want to get too much into it because it's not really something that we are super qualified discussing, but we're definitely in support of the communities that feel wronged and attacked and against police murder and brutality. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Black Lives Matter. It's that easy. All right. So today's exciting topics of the week. We're going to be talking, of course, about the PlayStation 5 reveal event that's happening next week. But first, let's talk about space.
So, anyways, about space. I'm pretty excited, and I hope you guys are too. NASA and Tesla, or SpaceX, are going to space. They were supposed to have a launch last Wednesday, but they unfortunately had to cancel it at a very, very last second due to hurricane weather down in Florida, where the NASA Space Launch Station is. But the two gentlemen that are going are actually going to be launching very, very shortly, which is extremely exciting.
Like today, shortly?
Yeah, today, shortly.
Oh.
They are supposed to go at 3:22 Eastern time, which is noon for us. But ultimately, it's going to come down to the weather, as long as the hurricane situation out there is under control. But I'm just really excited about this. Obviously, we haven't really been doing much space involvement in the most recent years, and especially now that SpaceX and Elon is on their team, it is very, very exciting, and I think this is eventually going to turn into the
foretold Mars mission.
The foretold Mars mission. And just to add too, this is also very, very, very awesome because we no longer have to go to Russia and ask for assistance going to space. With this partnership with Elon Musk and SpaceX, we are now self-sustainable to go outside of the orbit of the Earth's atmosphere.
We have the technology.
We have Elon.
I mean, space travel is always one of the most... It's one of the most, interesting and I think important aspects of just general, Earth society, because it is inevitable that we have to eventually break away from this planet and find another place to live. Obviously, that's in the far-flung future, but I think it's so important that we are, investing that time into it now, while we have the resources and the developing technologies available for it. So, and the fact that we are able to actually combine, obviously, a federally government program called NASA and SpaceX, which is a private institution, to create this joint unified launch is very exciting. And I know I've been seeing the launches all the last couple of years of the reusable thrusters and whatnot, and all that stuff is very exciting. It's getting that cost down, getting the technology more in people's minds, and it's very exciting. And I think that one of the big techs that you can see very soon from this is higher atmosphere of space travel, which is very interesting because you can get to places a lot faster via that kind of method if you're able to travel that from that high up. Just imagine just going a little space to travel.
Yeah, totally. This is also cool because Elon has been like constantly designing new spaceship designs. So they're currently running the newest capsule. It's called the Crew Dragon capsule, and it has like a slim of a percentage of failure, but it's really cool because the inside literally looks like a Tesla. Like it's like super sleek design, like futuristic looking. It's awesome.
Is the exterior looking like the Cybertruck?
Just a Cybertruck.
The Cyber Shuttle?
No, but their spacesuits now are like super teched out. It looks like what's that Disney robot that they had going for a long time in the Epcot Center? That was like the space robot. I can't think of his specific name, but
Epcot Center. I don't know.
There's like a Disney robot that has like a spacesuit on. He has like a short abbreviated name.
All I can think of is the trash can robot from Disney World.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Me too.
But I want to ask you guys before we get off this topic: if Elon was successfully able to get life sustainable on Mars in the next 30 years, which let's just say hypothetically we would be around, let's just say we'll be 55, and he was offering people to start going to Mars, and it takes about a month to get there. We will have a atmosphere there. Hypothetical
colonization purposes.
Yeah. Like let's say that they nuke it, which we will have to nuke Mars. We have to send a nuclear bomb to Mars to create an atmosphere so we can live there. But hypothetically, all that happened, and at the age of 55, you are asked to go to Mars for free, and you can live there, and you'll have housing, and it is what it is. Would you guys go?
I'd be on board.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's a. I mean, obviously, situations can change, and depending on what my life is back then. But if I'm not worrying about outside factors, then yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's funny. I was on a Groupon a while back, and they were selling acres of land on Mars supposedly. If I just bought a shit ton of it and brought the freaking deed with me during this time of colonization, I'd just be like, "This is my land. I live here. Thank you."
It's funny that there's those things that exist, but I can't imagine how actual land ownership of that kind of system would work. But it would definitely, I would have definitely assumed that like
me neither. I own the far left quadrants of this planet.
I call Upper Hemisphere.
No one else.
Call Upper Hemisphere. It's mine.
I'm curious on the exact specs of that. Like, I don't think it's legitimate. Kind of like how you can buy your own star, but there's like 20 different companies.
No, I don't think it's legit at all. I think it's just something to have a piece of paper saying, "Oh yeah, I own that."
I think I don't
think there's no topography or anything done yet.
Of course
I think the United States and powers that be in this world will just be like, it's ours. It's we claim it.
Yep, first person to touch down on it. Yep, it's now ours.
It would be such an interesting thing to have to see that political landscape play out of like, who owns this land, like what kind of things can you do with it? Because it would have to develop that concept would have to develop so far before any actual economic advantage would develop from it. at least in my head, because you would it would be so costly to bring things back from Mars that claiming that land wouldn't be of any advantage. So it'll just be very interesting to see like how people go about in their head, like what to do. Like, is it going to be based on like current population size? Are they just all going to put out spaces equally? It's just like
That's actually interesting. Like thinking like way in the future, like when we start colonizing multiple
sovereign planets.
Because clearly, well, look, I mean, what it seems to be is this is almost going to be like a Star Wars situation. Like we're starting with Mars, we're going to find another one, we're going to keep moving, and eventually, in thousands of years, if we all don't die from something crazy,
we'll have different systems.
We're gonna have different planets to travel to, and it's going to be like a Star Wars situation. But then, what does
Star Wars situation?
Yeah, there's
so many other like sci-fi franchises that you could have pulled from that make perfect sense. You got Halo, you have Mass Effect, and Star Trek.
Yeah, but those are also
all these franchises that start with Earth, whereas you pulled Star Wars, which is no relationship with Earth.
Well, regardless,
I think way down the line, we were to colonize on Mars. I would be a happy resident of the United States of Amarzica.
Speaking Klingon, but I think what's going to happen is, what if this turns into like the colonization of the Earth back then? Like Christopher Columbus comes to America and claims America, even though there's already people living there. So what if this comes down to like a country thing? Like if the U.S. gets to Mars first, we're just like, yo, this is ours. But I don't think it's going to work that way.
But then here's the thing: if we go to Mars first, we're the first people on there. We're like, hey, welcome to United States, America. But really, welcome to Nabonia, rebellion, representation without taxation. Wait, no, the other one, taxation without representation.
Jesus.
I can talk about like Mars and space travel so much that I think we should almost talk about it on another podcast. Like I'm curious about like language and like learning and like how people are going to evolve and stuff like that. I think it's going to be crazy.
Why don't we set a podcast aside for that, for when, say, this launch happens?
Oh, it's happening today.
You mean in like 2 hours from now?
Ladies and gentlemen, for the rest of the day, we will be there'll definitely be more times once we can delve into some space politics. But more importantly, can you dunk on Mars, Joey? Man. Can you dunk on Mars?
Can you dunk on Mars? I want to say you can.
Sure. Okay.
I think anyone can, but I think the truth of the matter is their gravity there is very, very similar to Earth's. So good luck being MJ.
I don't think it's that similar to Earth's. I think it's a lot less. Considering we've only ever dealt with one gravity before, I think that's a significant change.
But then again, that's gonna
literally any difference in gravity, I feel like is gonna be.
It's gonna destroy your bone structure.
Insanity.
Like 100%. Yeah, your body's gonna get destroyed from it.
Anyway, let me just take this ball and pass the topic over to Joey.
Awesome, thank you.
As I try to come up with a smooth transition.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, let's take it from space to the court. My usual talk when it comes to social discording is the hottest video game I've been playing. Not hottest, but like the video game I played for the last week. I would have to say NBA 2K20 would be the title holder for this week.
I believe 2K is the number 3 best-selling game. No, you know what? It might actually be number 2, 3. It's either 2 or 3 of the best-selling games of the year right now.
It's definitely up there. I picked this game up on a whim, thanks to Dylan, a few weeks ago, thinking, what the heck? I'll give it a try. I've enjoyed it a lot ever since, for multiple reasons.
Now, when was the last time you bought a basketball game or a sports game in general? Like, what's your history?
NHL 2K19 a year ago.
Okay, and basketball game?
Never.
Never. Okay.
The
I've
last
owned basketball games. I've never purchased one myself. Actually, no, that's not true. The last basketball game I purchased myself was NBA Street Volume 2 many years ago.
on the PS2,
GameCube.
GameCube. For me, I also purchased NBA 2K because it was on a really good sale on Steam, which is always appreciated.
Mhm.
And my last NBA game was NBA 2K12, which featured Kobe Bryant on the cover and was dedicated to his 2 championships that he just previously won.
I think my last one was 2004, maybe. One of those earlier. I'm looking at my baseball games. So that was 2005. So maybe 2002, 2003, 4. One of those ones. That's how long it's been.
So I actually went back and I watched a video from NBA 2K, the first one, which came out in 2000 on the Dreamcast, and I think it came
Rest
out
in
on a few
peace, our
other
Lord and
platforms.
Savior.
Dude, it actually looks pretty good for the time. Like, it's smooth. The introductions are like custom to each team. Like, it actually doesn't look that bad.
Holds up still. The Dreamcast was very ahead of its time.
Yeah. The Dreamcast also had an interesting memory card system as well.
Those little handhelds that
With,
you can
like,
plug into it.
yeah, those are cool, man.
And had internet. It was really ahead of its time.
Yeah, it was.
Anyways, Joey, what do you like about 2K?
I
Give him
I
the juice.
like-
You could give him. You can give him the sauce. Let him.
well, for
Oh,
one
he was
thing,
he
I
was
like that
saying.
I have- for one thing, I like that I have, you to share it with. I have someone to play it with, whereas playing it on my own, I'd probably just be bored out of my mind. We've had a couple of good series, 7-game series come out of it.
Yeah.
It's
So
just
for
camaraderie.
those that don't know, Joey and I have been doing just 7-game series out of pure boredom. So we'll pick a team and roll with the team. And
So
Joey
our
has won.
first series was the 95-96 Bulls, me, against the 2001 Lakers, Dylan.
Laker Boost on Instagram.
Good plug. The series ended up being 4-1, me. Did not turn out well for you.
Yeah.
I think the next
Mr.
series
Michael
ended-
Jordan. Mr. Michael Jordan was too great for me.
I think the second series ended up worse for you.
I mean, I got more wins. The second
You got
series,
more
I was
wins, but
off.
you couldn't win the series.
Yeah, I was off to a 3-0 start, and Joey came back and reverse sweeped me.
Oh man, it was beautiful, and I didn't have to use Michael Jordan. I used DeAndre Jordan.
Very true. But then again, neither of us are professionals at this game. We just
Not
got it
at all.
last week.
I tried playing online with some other people, and I just knew I will avoid that for now.
This
But
doesn't
I'm
have
really
anything to do
excited.
with 2K, but there was a Madden tournament recently. It was the top level Madden players, and the person who won through. I think he used this. I think he never passed the ball, and he only did like these 3 plays or something like that, where somehow within the confines of Madden and the competitive like meta, the best thing to do is like this one strategy that's just like completely counterintuitive to how football works.
Yeah,
Has
there's
nothing to do with it,
definitely
but
some. Yeah, there's some meta strats in the game. Even with 2K, like using specific players and taking specific kinds of shots are just. It's almost a guarantee you make. But I'm just gonna say,
sorry, real quick. That's such a weird thing to think about with like players and stuff like that. Because in terms of like fighting game stuff, obviously there's certain fighting game characters that are always better than the others. But for like real life like people to have like stats and stuff that make them more advantageous, it's just like a weird concept to me.
How so?
Well, just like how do you properly quantify a human's stats?
Well, I mean,
well, there's things in the NBA called shooting percentage and athleticism and height and weight.
Well, height and weight like quantifiable metrics. Shooting percentage quantifiable, but athleticism is not a quantifiable metric. I mean, obviously you can do some tests
Well, right.
and run statistics and do all that stuff. But I'm just saying that it's such like a weird idea of quantifying that kind of like those kinds of statistics. But it's interesting how they approach that, and they do that, and then it results in like a tier list of human basketball players virtualized in a video game. It's just like it just to me it's like how did we get here? Where did we get
I
here?
don't think it's too weird considering like I mean essentially people do the same thing when you sign an NBA contract. They quantify your worth but through your skill. You know, for example, Shaq at the free throw line is terrible. So they'll take that shooting percentage and do whatever they do to quantify a skill number in 2K, and then that is the percentage or your likeliness of making the shot with the perfect stroke.
Right.
It's gotten to the point in these games specifically where that metric is so sorry, I just hit my desk. Is so complex, and the algorithm in order to go from player to virtualized player must be so complex. It's a fascinating idea to me that of being able to do that kind of thing.
I definitely think it's something that's been fine tuned as the years have gone on with each game that's come out, though.
Just slightly fine tuned.
Like imagine you know attempting this at the very beginning with the first 2K game.
Yeah. I mean, and I will say though, just like playing as the Lakers, for example, because I know like how the Lakers play in real life, the game highly favors you when you play similar to the current team in real life. So a lot of the setups, placements, plays are beneficial in the real game. But I just want to recap and just say I'm very, very excited to see our progression between Joey and I with this game. And hopefully one day we can be good and actually have some decent series that we can maybe record or stream or do something.
It'd be nice.
NBA. This sports games are just something that I've never seen myself getting into. I feel like it's just a genre that's just not really for me.
Unless Mario is in it.
Unless Mario is in it. Give me some Mario Hoops 3-on-3, baby. Let's go. Woo! Come on.
Tennis, baby.
Come on. Give me those Final Fantasy characters in there. I want to play as Cactuar. I was going to say something about... Oh, have you guys tried that? Oh, wait. So NBA 2K20 was very, very criticized around this time last year, which is when it would have been revealed and starting its marketing cycle. It was criticized very heavily for a trailer that featured I don't know what it is in 2K, but I know that FIFA has a system called FIFA Ultimate Team, which is some sort of like card game within FIFA.
Oh yeah, it's NBA. It's my team. In NBA.
Yeah. Yep. And these are their like these are what get the corporate executives very greasy up there. They're like, ooh, yes, my teams, the ultimate teams. That's what we want. Focus on that. Because they're like the heavily microtransaction systems. And FIFA Ultimate Team is criticized heavily for being that one. NBA 2K though, 20, when it first dropped the original trailer, showed this like slot machine mechanic in the game, which was just like all these flashing colors and like craziness and blah blah blah. Like, oh my god, look how exciting we are with the slot machine.
Plinko, yeah, Dylan and I both already came across that.
The Plinko thing. Oh, I don't know about the Plinko thing. I just remember it being a slot machine, and it was criticized heavily because obviously NBA 2K is a game that is marketed towards all audiences, including children, and so you had this oh my god, bright lights and colors, gambling with real money system in the game, and I think that the game is still obviously in user score for Metacritic isn't the best metric because anyone can do that, but it is still the lowest rated NBA 2K game of the last 5 games, and not by a ton, like 4 or 5 Metacritic points. But have you guys tried those My Team mechanics?
Yes. I'll say mine really quick, and then I guess Joey can jump in. But this game has gotten the most criticism just by everyone overall, especially for those that have been playing all the 2K games. I can't tell just because I've obviously picked up this one, but they are saying that 2021 is supposed to be the turnaround year and is hopefully going to be a lot better. But in regard to those gambling mechanics, The only situation and circumstance I've seen it is when they give out a free player card. And so
Mhm.
you have to like essentially gamble to win that free player card. So the way it works is, let's say, for example, Kobe Bryant had a 60-point game. Or actually, you know what? Let's keep it current. Michael Jordan just recently had the Last Dance documentary. So they released a special The Last Dance Michael Jordan. So you can claim it by using a code, but you have to roll the Plinko board in order to actually claim it.
Oh shoot, Joey just keep talking.
So although it is a gambling mechanic, the only way that I've actually seen it so far is just in a like free to claim. You also have to do like a little gambling method, which is controllable. You do control the Plinko slightly, but you kind of have to do that game to claim the reward.
Mhm.
Mm.
I was gonna say the same exact thing.
It's possible that they backtracked a lot on some of that from that early reveal because people were it was a big deal in games news for that week when that trailer dropped. People were very just like, what the fuck is this? And I think that's why it had such a harsh Metacritic. Like I think the PS4 version is sitting at like a 1.2 on Metacritic, which is ridiculous. Um, but you said about 2K21. What makes you think that 2K21 will be better, considering the fact that right now, with the quarantine stuff that's going on, development for games is kind of shunted a little bit. So it's going to be like I would think that it would be difficult to raise the quality of a franchise going through. That's especially one that's annualized.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
Joe, are you frozen?
just from what
Joey's frozen. Oh my god, what a
that's all frozen.
horrendous face to be frozen on.
We'll keep it going though. Just from what they're saying, 2K is supposed to be better in terms of like movement and aesthetically look. But don't get me wrong, there is a huge hole that they dug themselves with this like online franchise thing. Um, like you can sell player cards that are extremely rare and make a bunch of VC from them. But then again, I mean, you also look at all these other games like Fortnite, where there's a bunch of in-game currencies. And it seems like honestly, a lot of these games are moving towards that in-game currency format.
I mean,
Um,
we've been there for a good part of the decade at this point. I would say that it's starting to balance out a bit where you see Fortnite, and I actually like Fortnite's model because Fortnite is pretty upfront with how they do their mechanics, and I don't know if there's a lot of underlying systems where it's like in Call of Duty. Call of Duty has a copyrighted system in which you'll be matchmaked against players who are buying more stuff than you. So you'll see players who have cool skins and other stuff that you don't have because there's an algorithm that they use. Like they'll throw you in games to let you win a few times against players who are worse than you, and then throw you into games where players are better than you, so that you get more influence to buy more, in-game currency. And that was something that was very prevalent in the last few Call of Duties. I think Modern Warfare specifically, they started to kind of back down on the loot box mechanics, so there's no more, not as much pay to win mechanics as so, but more just like skins and stuff like that. So that's kind of in the more I don't want to say casual, I want to say mainstream, the more mainstream games like your Call of Duty and your annualized sports franchises, these kinds of mechanics are very prevalent.
Yeah, NBA 2K definitely is like a pay to play kind of win, or pay to win kind of game. There we go.
Is that just in? But is that in online, or is that in only certain modes where it has that pay to win feature?
I would say it's on and offline because you can buy the currency and use it to boost your stats.
Yeah,
Look,
you can use it for my player to just boost your overall abilities, and then you can also use it for the my team to buy different player cards and rare player cards on the auction market.
Yeah, so there's definitely pay to win.
Okay, interesting. We can talk more about that about the the impacts of pay to win mechanics, but I'm glad you guys are enjoying the game. I think like being critical of the annualized sports franchise isn't an easy dig, but I think buying a sports franchise every few years is actually totally viable. Like, fun time for anyone. That's
Mhm.
pretty much what I've never bought a sports franchise in an annualized form. I always had, I had like one Madden game PS2, one basketball game, one baseball game on PS2, and then moving forward, it was just I stopped buying them after that. But it was never like annualized for me. Um, just don't buy WWE 2K. Just don't. It's not good. Well, for our final topic this weekend, it's suffice to say, it's the one that I'm most excited about. Is Sony has announced that the PS5 reveal event is Thursday, June 4th at 1 p.m. And they said they're going to be announcing games, first party, third party, games that you can only experience on the PlayStation 5. So I figured we'd just do a couple little predictions and desires and things that we want to see out of this conference. I'm going to throw it over to Joey because I know Joey is he's damaged. He's like Jared Leto in Suicide Squad. He's got damage written over his face of his PlayStation fandom because he's currently without his precious rectangle of a PS4. What do
Yeah,
you want to see from this conference?
I want to see a system that's not going to crash on me. God damn it!
I'll always crash. Are you?
No,
Are you?
I honestly don't know what I want to see out of this presentation. I'm just going in with high expectations.
I think it's pretty. I think we should. I think we can have high expectations for this because it's PlayStation. It's PlayStation
Of
5.
course.
It should be. It's coming off of one of the most successful consoles of all time. Are you day one? Well, not day one, but are you already sold on getting a PS5 at some point?
Yeah, if I don't just get a replacement PS4.
What's the financial burden of replacing your PS4? Is that like buying a brand new one?
Probably so. I looked into sending it in to getting it repaired, and I got no help out of it. So it's probably just going to end up being getting a new one.
I mean,
If that's the case,
at this
I might
point,
as well just wait for a PS5, I guess.
yeah, because you'll get the backwards compatibility and like the boost mode from PS4 games. So,
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'll probably just wait for PS5 then.
is there a game in particular that you want to see? Like that you'd be like, oh my god, it's here finally, Ape Escape 4.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. I had Ape Escape for PlayStation 1. That game was so much fun. Not really. I mean, I don't know. I'm still super hyped over Tony Hawk, so I'm sure there's another game that'll outshine it at some point, but for right now, Pro Skater's in my head.
Okay. Mr. Dillon, I know as someone who is not a enthused console purchaser these days, I believe you have an Xbox One, but rarely use it. You are more in the PC crowd, and occasionally you give the sexy eyes over to your Nintendo Switch. What does PlayStation have to do on Thursday to get your vote?
To get my vote as in my purchase or
Yeah.
vote as in approval?
No, your purchase. I don't give a shit about your approval. Yes.
You simp.
Yes, simp.
I don't think there's anything they can do to make me purchase one. I mean, even if they
said that Halo's going to come out on the PlayStation for some crazy weird reason.
What's like the one game
which-
that's like the game that you've wanted for a long time, whether it be like a reboot of an older game or like a sequel of some sort or something brand new concept that's like PlayStation's like, this game is coming out. Like, let's say Fortnite 2 was exclusive to PlayStation 5.
Truthfully, no. I mean, at this point, at this rate in my life, there's no reason for me to purchase another console. But I would like to see some Ratchet and Clank stuff, maybe some Sly Cooper stuff, bring it back to the OG days. And I'm definitely curious to see what the console's capabilities are. Obviously, it's going to be more powerful. We're going to see a lot more performance from it. But I think it's going to be cool to see like what multitasking it can do. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more streaming abilities from it and clear streaming abilities. So I'm more so just curious what it can do, but I'm really, really, really not going to purchase one unless if there was like some new virtual reality, maybe. Then again, I probably would just want to do that through my computer.
Right.
But if there was some crazy like new technology that no one's ever heard of, and there's like, hey, we got this. This is new. No one's ever seen this before, and we're releasing it. Maybe I'll give it a gander. But as of now, nothing really that they can do to persuade me. Unless they want to give me one for free, I'll take it for free. But I don't think they will.
That's a
I would gladly take one for free.
what a call out. What was I gonna say about streaming
Sponsor
and
me, Sony.
multitasking? I know Microsoft has been pushing game switching as a big feature on the Xbox Series X. They've been showing like you can have like multiple games loaded at once, and like let's say you're playing Fable 4 if that ever comes out.
And you rage quit.
No. Let's say you're playing Fable 4 single player, and your friends are like, hey, we're gonna get on Fortnite, and you can instantly switch over to Fortnite, play Fortnite, and then when all your friends leave, come back to Fable and continue right then and there. That's a feature on the Series X. Now that's not something that PlayStation has announced yet, because they haven't really talked about it too much, but it's very possible that they'll at least have something similar to that. And then as far as streaming capabilities, obviously the PS4 has streaming built into it. They had that share button on the controller, so they are very, very forward looking with the streaming capabilities. But there is a new button on the PS5 controller, the DualSense, called the Create button, which we're not too sure about what it is, but we think it's gonna really expand those features, that idea of like creating content and stuff like that. And I think that that's gonna go beyond just streaming. I think it's gonna be like video, like micro video editing softwares and stuff like that you can really like create like like your whatever platform you want to do, like TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Vine, Dig, whatever you want. It's gonna be there.
Hey, bringing back Vine.
For me, obviously, it's very likely that I'll get a PS5 within very soon. I think I'm leaning more towards getting a PS5 at launch versus the Series X, just because, as far as I mean, depending on what Microsoft does in July, as far as I know, the only game that's coming out is Halo, and I can play Halo on my PC and my Xbox Series or Xbox One S. I do desire that powerful console though, but I know that the games that I really want to play, I know are coming to PlayStation, whereas Xbox hasn't really shown those games yet, or proven that they can make games at that caliber yet, that Sony's been doing. So honestly, there's only a couple. There's plenty of games that Sony can throw out next week. They'd be like, all right, I'm in. Everyone's talking about Horizon Zero Dawn 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, Spider-Man 2, God of War 2. All these things. New Crash Bandicoot game.
On owning both at some point?
Yeah, that's just me, the all gamer. Glory to the X button. As a member of the cult of the all gamer, we worship the X button. Do you want to know why we worship the X button?
Because all platforms have an X button.
All platforms have an X button. That's what unifies us all. The holy X button.
True.
Except on PlayStation, it's called a cross button. But we won't talk about that.
Yeah, but you just turn it a little bit. There you go.
No, it's still an X, but they call it cross.
Well then, no, it's an X.
Yeah. Fuck you, Sony. Not buying your damn console. But PC has an X key. Like, you can press, there's an X key on there. Mobile phones have an X key. And I know Oculus has an X button. So, the holy X button.
Stars are aligning.
Stars are aligning.
X's are rising. Boys, Xbox Nation unite.
Xbox Nation unite. Xbox has got a big mountain to climb, but I think that they can. I think they're going to do it. And I think it's going to be good for everyone. Good for all gamers. Kingdom Hearts 4 on Thursday. That's it for our podcast today. I've been Bander SN. That's been Spicy Fries in the red and DJ's X in the yellow. That's a prediction. No, I'm not predicting Kingdom Hearts 4. There's going to be, I think there's a game in between that has to come out.
Probably so. Most likely.
Yeah, this has been Social Discording. Thank you all for another wonderful episode. It's been episode 7. We'll see you again next week.
I just want to quickly say, Elon was also said on this episode. We have a trend, boys. Elon is taking over Social Discording.
We need to come up with a segment name for this week in Elon.